Welcome to the final video in this series. Previously, we looked at identifying vintage clothing and navigating the thrift store. In this video, we'll discuss what to buy and what to pass on. First, it's important to figure out what is your ultimate goal with vintage clothing. Are you hunting for pieces for your personal wardrobe? Looking for gifts for others? Wanting to sell online or in person? This will help to guide your decisions. Probably the most important factor to look for in vintage is the condition. I recommend looking very closely at any item before you purchase. The worst feeling is trying on a garment at home only to notice a large stain or unfixable tear. Things I look for are rips, stains, pilling on fabric, loose seams or buttons, and missing and damaged hardware like zippers, buttons, and belts. Some extremely old clothing can also be in disintegrating condition, as not all fabrics keep well after many decades, especially if not cared for correctly. Another thing to consider, especially if looking to sell items you find, is modernity. I've found that vintage clothing that doesn't age itself too much is more likely to sell. That's why vintage t-shirts and Levi's denim are really popular, because it's timeless. 80s shoulder pads haven't swung back into style yet, so think twice before you buy if you really do like the item or if it's just vintage. Not all vintage is worth buying. My final suggestion is on value. If you find an item and can't quite determine its worth, look it up on eBay, Etsy, or in just a Google search. You can get an idea of what an item has sold for in the past. If you can't find an item online and have an inkling it's worth some money, an instinct that will develop the more you thrift and find vintage, I suggest contacting someone else in the business, maybe through email or Instagram. It might just be that you've got something extremely rare on your hands.